If I didn't just get done talking about this 5 minutes ago. Shout out to this creator, man. This was great. Great question. Great prompt. Great question. Great conversation. Great conversation. Love it. Let's get into it.
So I hear through the grapevine that people are being prompted to ask their absent father why he was absent, and I'm actually living for this. I was in a relationship with a
The answer is he chose to be absent, but let's keep going.
guy who was not raised by his dad but was raised by his mom, and any chance he got, he would disparage her. He'd be like, I wish you would have made better choices. I wish you would have picked me a better dad. I wish she would have, tried better. She wasn't toxic. Like, she probably drove my dad away. Like, these are the things that he would say. And don't let us get like a little bottle, because it would get really bad. Like, he would literally get sobby, like cry and be like, I wish I had a dad. Like, I wish, my dad was present. Like, mind you, we're grown. Like, I'm like, yo. Now, I wasn't heartless. Like, I tried to understand. I tried to talk him through it. Like, I'm like, maybe you should talk to your parents. Like, actually reach out, have a conversation. He didn't want to do none of that. He just wanted to continue to disparage his mom. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired of the delusion. Let's roll things back just a little bit. Now, I love the saying, if they wanted to, they would, because I feel like it applies to so many things. If somebody wanted to show you love, if somebody wanted to be around you, if somebody wanted to make you feel important, they would do it for anything. If they wanted it, they would pursue, energy towards it. Point blank, period. It's no way around it. But he was also hell bent on thinking that his mom kept him away from his dad. His dad was in and out of jail. His dad had multiple children by multiple women. I'm like, brother.
Was the daddy good to any of the children? Because, what I'm saying, which still wouldn't prove anything, but, maybe, it was like, man, he's good over there. He's good with that woman, but he wasn't good with my mom. Then maybe, I guess you could, like, try to say it was your mom's fault, but more than likely he was bad with all the women, right? So what would that mean? That it's him, right? He's a common denominator, obviously.
I don't know. I was getting like just so tired of it. But it was like one day we were chilling, right? And he was basically explaining like, oh, like if my mom would have been a good woman, if she would have been this, that, and the third, like my dad would have been present. And so one day I had to like stop and ask him, like, we don't have any kids right now. We plan on getting married. We plan on having kids. What action could I do that's so bad that you abandon our child and don't talk to him, don't reach out to him, and just simply because of my actions? What could I do that was so bad?
Damn, that's a good question. Damn, that's a good ass question. What could you do? Now, my answer is obviously nothing. I mean, if you try to hurt my kids, I'll take my kids and you won't ever see them again. But it would the other way. I mean, I would never hurt my kids. I would never try to hurt them. So there's nothing she could cheat on me. She could sleep with a whole football team in one night. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. She could hit me, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's nothing she can do to keep me away from my kids. Nothing. And I'll even take it a step further. Y'all. I know this is gonna really boil some of y'all blood. No matter what my wife does to me, right? If she did anything like that to me, I would not only, for all intents and purposes, forgive her, right? I mean, not only would I always show up for my kids, I would, for all intents and purposes, forgive her, because that would be the best thing for my kids. I'm not going to hold it against her. I'm not going to make our, you know what I mean? Like, she ain't my girl no more. So what the fuck do I got to be mad about? You know what I mean? Like, moving forward, I'm just going to be the best co-parent I possibly could be. And I want her to be healthy and the best co-parent she could be. I don't want to put her in a fucked up mental state, because she's still going to be around my kids too. So yeah, that, like, you can't get me to, like, I'm not going to fuck it up for my babies. After my baby's gone, I'll cut contact with you. I ain't got to talk to you, you know what I mean? Whatever, right? But long as my babies, you are with my kid. But even then, though, you got the kids for life. Like, I don't even understand that, because like weddings and they have grandkids. No. It would never work. I would always be cordial, no matter what. I would swallow every ounce of pride that I have, and I would just be the best person that I could be for my children, no matter what their mother did to me. So I'm sorry. I just got done talking about this. There is no excuse for not showing up for your children in my mind. Like, there's just no excuse for it.
He didn't want to answer the question. He's like, oh, no, now you're doing too much. Like, now you're trying to take things too far. No, tell me. What's a justifiable reason to abandon your child?
Mm-hmm.
No contact. and this child is in their adult years yearning for a relationship. Tell me what warrants that. What makes that okay? And it was a tough conversation, to have a tough point to make. But I'm like, at the end of the day, bro, like, your mom is the only provider, protector. She's the only adult that's ever cared for you. And you just.
And men, in those instances, I'm going to take it back a little bit because I wanted to finish because I like where this is going. But I just wanted to say, men in these instances, men don't actually want you to be logical. Men don't want you to solve their problems. Men don't want you to help them through it. Like, they don't want that. They just want you to me, a lot of times, men be using this as a way to manipulate the woman. Like, this is that fake vulnerability. He's not really being vulnerable. If he was being vulnerable, he would be open to having the conversation that she wants to have to help him, like, unpack the stuff. And you know what I mean? But he doesn't want to have that, which shows me he knows good and goddamn well exactly what the answer is. Because here's the thing. He either would never do it himself, to which then why would he be tripping out about his dad? Why wouldn't he be like, well, yeah, that nigga's obviously terrible, right? Or he would, and if he would, then he should understand his dad. You know what I mean? Like, either way, the reaction that he's having right now isn't adding up. Is not adding up. If he had actually, if he was actually confused about any of this, but he's not confused. He knows exactly what it is. He's just using this as a way to manipulate her. That's what I think. Or he was, because she's not with him anymore.
Hey, bro, like, your mom is the only provider, protector. She's the only adult that's ever cared for you, and you disparage her out of delusion of this grandeur, reality you created with your dad. Like, oh, I wish he was there. He always wanted to be there. My mom just kept him away. So I'm like, again, like, what could I do that's so trashy? You abandon our kid. Can you explain it? Break it down. I'm like, at the very
break up with him. All you would have to do, a dude like that, all you would have to do is break up with him. just cut off the vagina, cut off access to your body, cut off access to your money, cut off access to your resources. He'll abandon the kids. I'll show her. She thinks she's going to live her best life? Absolutely not.
Like, what could I do that's so trashy? You abandon our kid. Can you explain it? Break it down. I'm like, at the very least, ask your dad why he didn't stay around. At the very least, understand your own situation. You don't got to unpack. We don't got to create no future narratives. And I'm like, you should want to, like, unpack that so you can have a good relationship with the kids you have in the future. Because right now it's seeming like it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. I kind of think that it would have broke his reality, like, if he realized, like, oh damn, my dad just didn't want to be there. Like, my mom wasn't terrible. His mom, she was actually, like, a cool person. Like, she had him at, like, 19. That's, again, she's, like, young as fuck. And from what I noticed, his daddy had another baby a week before she had her baby. And now, mind you, imagine being 19, thinking you're in love, you're starting a family, your little whoop wop the bang. And he has a baby a week before, and that baby is a boy, and he has a son, and names that son a Junior, and you're having a boy, and you're supposed to have a baby, and name him a Junior.
2 juniors is wicked. I'm gonna say this too, because I just got done talking about this. Men get so, like, the fathers get so much grace. I just got off of a live right now, and this man was talking about how he had 3 kids with a woman, and it was brought up in this live because he had mentioned this in the previous live that he, like, moved away from his kids to, like, get, establish himself financially or whatever. And he did so or whatever, and then he moved back, and now he's doing better, and he's with the kids, and yada yada yada. But he was gone for a long time, and we were basically saying, like, he abandoned his kids, and he, for whatever reason, he, whatever excuse he wants to come up with, he abandoned his kids. There's no way around it. The reality of it is, though, is that men get so much praise for doing nothing. When I basically told him that was terrible, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, he said, well, I'm doing better now. He was like, I just don't understand why you, basically he was saying, like, why don't you give me credit for what I'm doing now? And I was like, what are you doing now? Like, I asked him, I was like, so you want a cookie because you're like in your kids' lives now? Like, why would I give you a cookie for doing the bare minimum? Like that's what men be expecting. Men be expecting adulation, right? Acknowledgement for doing that. Like, I said this to my wife the other week, a couple weeks ago. I was like, you don't have to tell me I did a good job. You don't have to tell me like you appreciate me. You really don't. And I love that she does. Don't get me wrong. I love that she does, but she doesn't have to though. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to because she shows me she appreciates me. She doesn't have to tell me she appreciates me because she shows me she appreciates me. You know what I mean? Like she always shows up for me. She cares about me. She listens to me. You know, I know she appreciates me. I know by her actions. And I'm not saying this for everybody. I'm saying for me, like I don't even need her to tell me that, you know? Let alone, I mean, but not let alone, but a part of that is because what do you appreciate exactly? You know what I'm saying? What are you appreciating? Me being your husband, doing the things that I should be doing, uh, being a father to my children who I have with you. Like, I don't need it. It's good to get it. Don't get me wrong. I think that's why it's so good to get it. Cause I'm like, oh, thank you. Cause I didn't deserve that and I didn't need that, but thank you so much. I still appreciate it, right? But to be the type of man to be asking for that, to be fishing for that from complete strangers at that is crazy. It's wicked, man. But that's what men do.
So I guess his mom was like emotionally going through it, and she kind of just like, I don't know, she moved or whatever. Like she was really going through it. And I was like, yeah, I understand. Like, I'm not saying she's right in that situation, but she was 19, she was pregnant, and it looks like her reality just
She was definitely right.
got really, really shaken up. And I'm like, if we being honest, like, for your dad to even be in that situation, that's telling you already off jump, like, what kind of man he was really was, what he was really about. Like, he had two young women pregnant at the same time.
Hmm.
You know, like, be honest.
He didn't. Instead of him looking at his dad as the piece of shit that his father is, he looking at his mama, blaming his mama, but his daddy was the one that had two babies at the same fucking time. Your mama didn't. Your mama didn't have a man, and your daddy wasn't your mama's side dude, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? She didn't. Your daddy wasn't her main dude, and she had a side dude, and she got pregnant by the side. Like your father had two babies within a week of each other. You know, I don't know the level of relationship the mother had with the dad or anything like that. They could have just, fucked, and then, you know what I mean? He got her pregnant, he got another one. Like, I don't know. But once those babies were there, um, it wasn't like he was gonna take care of them. So the mother had to do what she had to do. She did what was best for her and the kids, right? And how are you gonna blame her for that? If he cared, she wouldn't have took him. If he was there, she wouldn't have been able to take him. If he was in the kids' lives, if he would have had anything to do with them, she wouldn't have been able to take the kids. So how you gonna blame her for that?
Bro, like, is he a good guy? And then I'm hearing like, oh, his dad was really like in and out of jail for real. He had multiple kids. He had more kids after them. He had, like, brother, I'm like, he got multiple kids that he's there for some.
Her watching King of the Hill in the background. I swear to God, she was watching The Simpsons before. I think so. I heard the music. I was like, she watching The Simpsons, but now she watching King of the Hill. I salute you, man. You my types of people. You my type of people. King of the Hill was my shit.
He's not there for some of them. You got to pick up on what he's putting down, love. He didn't fuck with you. And I think it really may be a hard pill to swallow that your dad just didn't want to be there. He didn't love you. He didn't care. He didn't respect you. He didn't value your life to be involved. And that's, at the end of the day, it. He created a life, and he did not feed that life to continue to nourish and grow. And I think it is what it is. Like, I'm not saying that it's okay. I think it's disgraceful. Even animals care for their young. So if a human's moving like that, we got to start, looking at it a certain way. For real. And then His dad gets locked up again. This is during the time that we're
Which getting locked up is a choice, by the way. It's not like, oh man, I was in and out of jail. How could you expect me to take care of you? By not doing things to get locked up, unless you went to jail for no fucking reason, right? They pinned a crime on you, fine, I got you. Short of that, short of that, the fuck are you doing?
dating. His dad gets locked up again. He's clearly an adult. For whatever reason, he decided to have a meet and greet with his dad. Like he went and had a visitation, right? It was just so weird. I was like, how did it go? He's like, I was just, happy to be there, elated to be there, like just to see him, like to see who I look like. We both had like similar interest in beverages. I'm like, oh, okay. Did you like, did y'all break down like
Man, don't be talking about nothing for real, for real. Beverages, my nigga. So what you like? You look like a Shasta kind of guy. Shasta, right? Tiki Punch. Ah, I knew it, bro. I knew it. Yeah, nah. I'm a do. I'm a Mountain Dewer. I just do the do, bro. I fucking do the do.
why he wasn't there? Didn't get to that point. But as the times kept going on in our relationship, like his dad would be like reaching out, and his dad would be asking him for money. And I one day I overheard their conversation. Like the phone was like on speakerphone, and I always try to give him his grace when he have his phone calls with his dad. Like I'll tiptoe out the room, let them have the little moment, because one day the phone was on speakerphone, and he was like, "Hey, Junior, do you think you could put a little money on my books and get in contact with my girl?" In my head, I'm like, Junior, you have an actual Junior, and you abandon this man. You're emotionally manipulating him and using his want for a relationship with his dad.
God damn. If I told you I'd never seen this before, I'd be a motherfucking liar. I'd be a goddamn lie. I've seen this before.
To get money and use to access to his freedom outside of jail. Point blank, period. Because why would you do that? Why would you call this grown ass man Junior? And you have abandoned his life. And you have an actual Junior. Be so fucking for real. Like, it just made me, But watching my man, like, fawn and really want this relationship.
I got it. That had to give her the ick. She ain't gonna say it, but goddamn, that had to give you the ick. That was crazy. That's that deep down, you got to know something off with this dude. He ain't gonna be good moving forward.
And like, it was so bad. Like he could tell he really wanted it. Like it was something that was really important to him. And then he kind of was seeing that he was kind of seeing that his dad is not who he thought he was to be, or that his dad didn't really care about him, or he's like understanding like he's kind of using me. Like I felt like that because it got to a point where I'm like, hey, how are things with your dad? Like you talk to your dad lately? I ain't really, because you realize like he's using you for money. And that's the only reason he's in a contact with you as an adult today.
And that's the whole like premise, or the whole idea around like it's just better that if they like a man like that, it's better that he just don't stay that he just stay clear of you completely. Like I've talked about this before, but my dad did more harm than good. You know what I mean? So I'm saying by being in my life, he hurt me many a times by being in my life. And he was the type of person that would show up for a period and then disappear for a longer period, and then show up for a period and disappear for an even longer period. So every single time he did that, it was like he was scratching off the scab. You know what I'm saying? Like when the wound would start to heal a little bit, he would rip it off again. So it's like, why not just stay away? Let me process everything on my own. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And then that way I'll be able to be whole and healthy, because at a certain point, like granted, maybe there would have been a time when I would have felt like this, like, why wasn't he around? Maybe I would have felt like that. But by the time I was fucking 20-something, early 20s, I'd have been like, the nigga just don't want to be there. You know what I mean? Like the man just didn't want to be here. So how am I going, why am I pining over a person that don't even want to, like, that never wanted to have anything to do with me? Like at that point, I'd have been over it.
Is that?
Yeah, that's all it would have been for me. And that's the problem that I that I have when we talk about this stuff is like, men just don't understand how much damage we cause by not being consistent. You know what I'm saying? By not being consistent, you know? And ultimately, the reason why men make excuses for other men like this is because of misogyny, right? Because, you know, this whole idea that everything that has happened bad in a man's life is somehow tied to a woman is something that men teach other men all day long. So whether you know that's where it's coming from or not is irrelevant, because it's, you know what I mean? Like it's the fucking truth. You see it play out. Because why would you blame your mother for anything? Your mother took care of you. What did she do? She didn't kidnap you. Go check. Look, if she kidnapped you, check the police reports. Was anything ever? Was there ever anything filed on your behalf? Did your dad ever go? Did your dad ever go to court and file anything to get you or nothing? Like, oh no, okay, cool. Then she didn't steal you from him. You know, he never fought for you. But it's just easier for men to blame women for whatever, you know, for whatever's going on, you know, rather than put the onus on the man, unfortunately. And like I said, that is deeply rooted in our misogyny.